Okay, so here, we're trying to open a defect here. So we'll just use this. Press in order. Okay, so what I'll be doing here, take the screenshot. Okay, without screenshots, I'll not be opening defect. Okay, but it's up to you. Okay, it's completely optional. Just trying to say, trying to help you out to make your work efficient, but it's up to you. So yes, when you open a defect, you want to always keep a screenshot so that you're trying to say because why, right? The reason you want the screenshot because you don't want to go ping pong with your developer, right? Because the developer understands something, okay, and you understand something again. This thing becomes pretty because it goes to your boss. Okay, all these things will go to your boss. So, and once your boss gets feedback about this, so a lot of things can happen. So what I'm trying to do is here, I'm opening a defect here, shipping and handling. Okay, keys, and I'll put this add with details. And we could just which project does it belongs to. I'll put GMO Online. And here, just put here. This is not really required. This is because to know who actually opened the defect. Okay. Okay. Now, let's say this is important here. So defect state. So when you're working on this current project, you want to make sure the defect state is always in open status. Okay, it's always in open status. Now you cannot put it submitted and forget. Let's say you're working, how this can affect. Just to tell you because if you're working in like experience, right? You're going as experienced candidate. So if you put this submitted, and let's say you forgot you're working on 3 to 4 projects, okay, and you just put in submitted and you forgot, and that email. So whenever you put this email, doesn't go to the developer. Okay, so you forgot it and it's been 2 weeks. Okay, your boss calls you, hey, can you stop by at my desk? Okay, and what's happening with this defect? So they will be tracking, right? They will be tracking whatever you open and what you are trying to do. Okay, all this they will be tracked. They will get good hold of this tracking things. Okay. Okay, now we'll say why this defect in submitted status? Why not in open status? It's been 2 weeks. Okay, the simple question from your boss is, it's been 2 weeks, why it is in submitted status? Why not in open status? Okay, so it's up to you how you argue. Okay, you can argue with me whatever you want, but you need to be really show your skill when arguing your boss. Okay, now here the scheduled state is in progress, and if you want to block this, now if you're blocking this, you really need to have some really very good reason here. Okay, that means developer, you're coordinating with the developer, and developer knows why this is blocked. Okay, and all those things you need to know, and then you need to put this block reason that as per the conversation from the conversation from the dev team, this defect is, whatever, but this defect is not going to move into this time, it's moving into next release, okay? So all those things, you can have some really good reason, because when it's, again, it's all monitored from your boss. So I think ready plan estimate 10 to do, okay, that in description. So here you want to tell to the developer saying that what you're trying to do, right? You're getting like defect. And this is the defect, right? Shipping and handling string is $5 for these many quantities. So that's my defect, okay? And Okay, so I'm getting shipping and handling fee as $5. Okay, for more information, please view this screenshot. Okay. It is nothing to do with anything, just okay. So here, once you put the screenshot here, okay, how do you do this? Use this insert image option and pick that image wherever you have stored, and here you go. Okay, this is a screenshot, and this is how it should be. Unless you know what you're doing, unless you have really experience, like 5 to 10 years, you have really experience, you know how you are handling this. You want to follow this, okay? Because there will be a lot of more questions. There will be a lot more questions for you to answer it. If you're not able to answer it, then they'll figure it out what's happening. Okay, so once you do this, later you want to fill up all this information. Okay, so all this information, right? You need to fill up. And okay, somebody asked this. This is the error report to whom? This defect is for developer. So owner of the defect is always a developer. Okay. So here you see this environment we have, as I told you, environment, dev environment, test environment, staging and production. So in what environment you have opened the defect? Let's say test. In this case we are taking as test. Okay. And let's talk about this priority and severity here. Okay, these two things. Okay, this priority and severity here. So you have to report to your QA lead. Okay, you are not reporting to anyone. You have to report to your lead, and from lead to your to your boss. Or sometimes if your boss is interested, you can also report to your boss. But to start with, I don't recommend you to just talk to your boss just like that. Okay, just go into the room and just start arguing with it. Doesn't work. Okay, you can argue with me whatever you want. Okay, it's okay, but when you want to make sure you show some respect there. Okay, so this is what happened. Similarly, one guy started arguing with the boss. No, this is it, this is what's happening. So after 1 week, that guy, I was not able to find that guy. Okay, so you have to be very careful. You have to have some respect to your boss. Okay, so make sure you understand that. So first thing, you have to work with your lead. Okay, get approval or whatever you have to do is from your lead. Okay, get approval. These defects, these defects I'm trying to open in the rally. Can I open? Because these aren't showing the requirement. It's for the requirement. It's not showing up in open. So once you get approval, only then you can able to open defect. Okay, so here priority and severity. Let's talk about this. Okay, severity is what is severity? Severity is the impact of bug. Okay, because of that bug, what is happening. Okay, now this is normally taken as SEV. Okay, SEV is severity. SEV 1, SEV 2, SEV 3, SEV 4. Okay, SEV means severity. Okay, 1 means numbers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's go one by one. There is cosmetic issue. There is something called cosmetic issue, which means, okay, let's take an example. Cosmetic means anything like simple, like spelling mistake. There is some spelling mistake here. This green mountain, they missed M, so it's showing only mountain. There's no M. So that is cosmetic issue. Anything spelling mistake or the color of it, the color should be blue, not green, which all those things. Those are cosmetic issues. Okay. And then we'll just go to minor problem. The minor problem is something like Okay, so we have just opened this defect, right? The shipping and handling, you can take it as a minor problem. The defect which seen here, or anything which is like, just accepting more than 100, and the stack is 23 and it's accepting more than 100, that is our minor problem. Okay, now let's come to this major problem. So major problem is something you're not able to navigate this web page. Okay, you're not able to move to this web page. Let's say you want to click something and suddenly it's showing this. Server error. Now, what happened is you have to write test cases for this web page, okay, but it's not able to move because you're blocked. Your whole test case is blocked. You cannot move forward. So that's a major problem because it's stopping you to do your work. Okay, it's stopping you to do your work. So that's a major problem. And there's a crash or data loss. So these two, more or less, is a production issue. Is this crash or data loss no production issue, or it can be also, this kind of issues where you're not able to, write your test cases. Okay, so here we'll just put in my. Okay, so here priority. So normally this severity and priority go align with each other. Okay, let's say if you're opening a cosmetic issue, you just want to open as a low priority. Okay, that means so what is priority? Priority is like you telling developer how soon it should be fixed. This is the defect, right? You are telling developer how soon it is fixed. So that's a priority. Severity is the impact of bug. Okay. Now, if the thing is low, that means you're telling developer, okay, you can take your time, no issues. You can put in next release or any release. This is low priority. But I cannot, pass my test case unless this is fixed. So it's up to you how much you're taking. So that's the low priority. And the normal. So normal, you want to go as minor problem. Okay. Now, if you're using this cosmetic and you cannot tell it resolve immediately, okay, this is really not appropriate. Okay, make sure you understand it. This will get a lot more stressful because if you're putting is cosmetic and it goes to the developer saying resolve immediately, now there are a lot of people who is watching this. Your manager, your dev people, dev team, and the dev manager. Okay, now what happens, right? If you put this resolve immediately and cosmetic, what happens is your dev manager looks into this. Okay, why is this here? And they will not talk to you. They will directly talk to your boss. Okay, somebody put this cosmetic and can you tell to change it because this is having a lot of problem to our dev guys. They're not able to concentrate and we are running into production issues and this is really not good. That kind of feedback is really not good. Okay, so cosmetic and we just want to put it low. So that's how it should be. And minor problem, it's normal. And major problem, you want to high tension. We are giving high tension because you're not able to move forward. There are test cases to execute here, and you're not able to see this page. And also it goes sometimes with crash, and this is resolved immediately. Okay, so yeah, so let's go to severity. Somebody asked, right? What is severity? Severity is the impact of bug. Okay. Because of that bug, what is happening? Like you are not able to execute your test cases. You're not. Sometimes it might block whole team. Okay, that in that case you want to put as crash or data loss. Okay, that's really impact. Okay, that's the impact of your bug. And so these are like SEV 1, SEV 2, SEV 3, SEV 4. Okay, SEV 1 is highest priority. The developer has to work on this because you're not able to move forward or any production issue. Any production issue should be to crash or data loss. Doesn't go below this. Major problem also you don't want to put because all production issues are SEV 1. Unless there was actually issue and what happened was the whole AT&T network was not working for some reason. So in that case, this is not just whole team, like there are like whole people who are working on that particular project were not able to see. So dev people have got almost like 10 to 20 defects for just one issue, right? So that would be the case. Okay, so all are one. So they have to close their own defects because cannot have this duplicate defects, okay? So those are crash or data loss, okay, production issues. Major problem is step 2. And step 3 is minor problem. Step 4 is cosmetic. Okay, so here we'll just put it minor problem and we'll go to normal. Okay, and these are disabled right now. Okay, found in bits. It's normally job of a developer to which defect. Which build is this being found? Okay, this normally the developer guys will be putting this. Okay, fixed in build again will be the job of a developer to which build is being fixed. So these are all should be filled by the developers. 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Okay. Now resolution. Resolution is developer will be putting this here. Will be changing here. Okay. And now, if you have opened some defect, you'll have a lot of information. So architect, if there is an architect issue, then if you're lucky to have a good, good guys, they will read out your defect. Okay, they will read out your defect and they'll put the people name because they know it, and they're just trying to help you out. And most of the time, they will not do that. They will just put this resolution architect, and maybe they will just put as not a defect, and they reject it. And what happens is, it's a defect because it's showing up right here. Okay, you have this screenshot and showing up, and they're not. So they will just end up saying, it's not my problem. I'm an ETL developer, I'm not an architect guy, it's not my problem. Okay, that's the response you're getting from the developer. Okay, so that's how it is. They will just reject this defect because that guy is not architect, that's fine. But he doesn't read out the defect because he doesn't know, or he has some issues, so he doesn't know. So if there's an architect issue, he'll just put as not a defect, and he will say it's not my problem. Okay, now you need to figure it out. Check with your leads, say who is the architect guy, and you don't even know architect guy. You just want to see, okay, how my defect got rejected, but still it's showing up. Here is the thing. I put the screenshot, but that's done. So now lead will say, okay, read out to the different developer, see what happens. Okay, so that time you have to see. Okay, so these are the options. What happens is architect, if there's an architect issue, code change, configuration change, database change, duplicates, don't get rejected for duplicate, need more information. So this kind of things, right? Sometimes you will get defects which are reproducible and non-reproducible. Okay, so if it is non-reproducible, that means it's happening to your system. Okay, that's happening, and the people will just reject it, saying that it's working fine in my machine. So it's working fine. Okay, so they will reject it. So if it's not reproducible, you want to check with your developer saying that, hey, what, this is coming up. This is coming for 3 to 4 times, but not always. We want to explain that. Okay, so that's it happens. So next you have this software limitation user interface. So this is supposed to be filled by the developer. Okay. And the target date we know is 24th. Release notes, if you have any release notes, okay, release notes is kind of, let's say the feature defect, and they also added few of these features, so you want to also test including that, okay, including that feature and your fixed defects. So you want to see that. So so you want to put some release notes, yes, there is a release notes, and you want to put that information, okay. So it's really not your job to do, but if you are assigned to do, then you have to do. It's not really yours. It should be filled by the developer. Okay. Okay. So FX documentation. That means, let's say there's, you have actually opened defect, but because of that, in the requirement it was not there. Okay, requirement it was not there, and it's also affecting document, then you want to put is yes. Okay. And the Salesforce, so this is really not required unless you're working on Salesforce. Okay. And if you have any CRM here, Salesforce CRM, and you want to put this ID, you can put it here. And once you have done all that, okay, you want to link this. Okay, that means this defect belongs to which test case. Okay, you want to use this because your lead will be checking it and see which test case does it belongs to, and you want to click on this and click on done. Okay, tags. I can put this tags. Now, Gmo functional listing. Let's put that. Okay, and owner, right? So owner. So owner of the defect is a developer, right? Is the owner. So you want to fill up this, okay? Here you'll have this owner. So if your lead is nice, really nice, you'll say, okay, what, just assign it to me, I'll take care of it, okay? But most of the time, you'll not. That doesn't happen. So you want to check who is the owner and put that name, okay? Who's the responsible guy for this, and put it in. And once you have done that, click on create. Okay, so here you have successfully created a defect here. Any questions? See, this thing, right? These tools, right? Now, you guys are arguing on this. I don't see any reason here. This tool is independent of this, any requirement. See, what happens is, even if you're working in Agile, okay, they're trying to eliminate all these requirement documents and all those things. So only requirement what you have, okay, is your user story, okay. That is this thing. Only requirement you will be having. See, here's the thing, you'll not even get access to this, even if they have it, okay? So most of the time, if you're working Agile, they're trying to eliminate these documents, okay? Use SRS and all this, they're trying to eliminate it. So even if you have that, okay, they'll just say, okay, see your user story, and that is this, okay? So, there's no reason to, not understanding between those requirements document. Just because you don't know the requirement documents, there's no linkage to this tool. This tool is completely independent of any other requirements. Okay. So once you created this defects, so once you create defect, right? So there can be multiple defects. Okay, there can be multiple defects. So you don't want to club everything in one, okay, unless you know who is the exact developer. Because sometimes this might, you find this in UI. There might be a ETL issue. Okay, there might be a backend developer who is responsible for this, and you might found something else which is a web developer or Java developer or Ajax developer. So a lot of things, right? So you want to make sure. You want to make it independent defects. Okay, you don't want to. You check with your lead, see that I have open. I have found 3 issues. Can I club all this in one? Because there's a lot of people who's working on. So can I club it, or can I open in different defects? That's what you need to check with your lead. Okay. So that's the thing. Okay. So I see here, people who have open defects but not following this. Okay. This is, you need to follow this, in the real time too. You want to say what exactly the defect is, okay? This shipping and handling fee, okay? And then you want to give some information, which project you're working on, okay? So that's kind of thing. You need to, make sure your naming convention is important. And even, if you open this, but it's submitted status. Okay, if you're putting submitted status, it's going nowhere. Okay, so don't think that it's kind of thing that no, I'm open to defect, my job is done. Okay, now actually the way is you have to follow up with them. Okay, you have to follow up, get it fixed. Once it gets fixed, your job is done. If you're not following up, it will come back to you. Okay, so that's the reason I said communication. Communication is very important. So you open these defects, but nobody has communicated to me that is this issue, should I open this issue? Okay, here I find your communication is zero because you are not communicating appropriately to your lead or to your boss, anyone, okay, to open this defect. Okay, so you have to remember in real time. This becomes pretty stressful if you're not following this communication. Okay, so communication is the key. Even if you know, even if you don't know, you have to communicate appropriately. Okay, so make sure you guys understand that. And okay, so that's about defects. So we have some time. Any questions? Any questions in this? Okay, so let's go to our report section pretty quick here. So here this is a little bit advanced, okay, but you need to know because you'll be also dealing with a lot of things. Okay, so you want to know this is reports is more for a lead perspective. Okay, because your boss directly talks with their lead saying that I want this report by end of today. Okay, and your lead has to get the job done. So here is the thing. So there are a lot of reports if you see here. Iteration burn down, iteration burn up, a lot of things, right? Let's say your boss told you to submit the report of the defects. Okay, on this defect by end of the today. Okay, so I don't even say by end of today. They might say that I want this right now. Okay, now that's a bigger problem. Okay. I want this right now. I don't care how you're doing it. I want this right now. So what you want to do is, if you see here, ouch, just use this. Oh. Let's go back to better. So it's normally just gets updated automatically, but we don't have really that. Okay, we'll just go to the next priority. We just should go. It's normally gets automatic updated, but here in this case only this defects is updated here. So this is these are the defects. Okay, this is the count and this is open between this much of date. Okay, let's see here. This is a time. How in which date does it open and how many defects have been opened. Okay, so this is the defects by priority. And these are which shows, which means these are none, okay, and these are low, and these are normal, and this is high tension, and these are immediately, okay. So this shows what the defects by priority, and you want to submit this document to your boss. Your lead will do this. But again, if you're even senior QA or if you're had a senior QA, you have to do this. Okay. Now what you want to do is go to two options here. You can export as PDF, and let's say we go to print. Guess what? We can also email. Let's try to email. So here you can email. Put your boss email ID, and to CC, you can CC yourself, and embed in the email, and click on send. Okay. Now this is what the email gets. So this is how you can generate the report and submit to your feeds. Even if your lead, let's say your lead even asks you to do this, okay, sometimes your lead might tell you to do this. As a senior QA, you want to do this. So you have to submit to your lead, okay? The similar way, you have a lot of options here: iteration burnout, iteration burnup, velocity chart. Okay, so since you already have access, you can go ahead and see here what is this, and how see what's this plotted about. Okay, how it is plotted, what is the information. Okay, you can view this all these reports. Okay, but as a tester, as normal tester, you will not always have access. Okay, yeah, you may not even have access. So okay, so here let's say there's reports which is not here. Okay, which is not available here. Okay, so unavailable here, but it's else you have to put in your own custom report. So you want to click it here, add new, and okay, here you go. You see here, this is the report. Okay, this is how it gets. So once you go here, you want to see now. Want to see this data? How you want to see? Okay, once you classify this, and you can add more, and how you want to broken up, and priority. Let's say priority and add filters. For add filter, many years of this, and click on run. So this gets generated for you. This is a custom. Okay, this custom report and shows all this information here, and you want to email this to, you can do that, or you can save it, save as a PDF, and you're having options to put PDF, so you can also do that. And send it email directly. Okay, this is custom report, reports which are not available here. Okay, so this is project level reports, and there's the team level reports which your lead will be already working on it. Let's say you have you have actually written your test cases, so now your boss needs to know, right? But so let's say, okay, generate the report, and say your lead to generate the report. So what they'll do is click here and see here is a print. See here, and this is not good. We just put a default and say the print, and this is not good. And go to print. So now what happens is all this what you are trying to do will be available here. Yeah, this is more for a team level report. And you see here. So they will see all your work, how you're doing, what you're doing, will be shown up here. Oops, sorry. This is actually sorry, not the user on this test case. So this is the option. Okay, that was for user story. Okay, so this is for so good. I want to click on print and save it. Okay, and this all information your boss will be getting. So who is doing it, and who is working on it, and what are the test cases you have prepared? All this will be monitored by your boss. Okay. So we'll be looking into what you're trying to do, and what are the various things you're trying to test. So that is the report, and in a similar way the defects. Okay, now actually it's not really required this too, because they will be having access. Okay, they will are, your boss will be already having this access, full access. So they will just look into your dust, write your visions, and see what people are doing. Okay, so this is all showing up here, and who is doing what and who is author page. So your name is displayed to the whole world. Okay, so whole company looks into it and sees what you're trying to do. So you have to be very careful here. Okay, you don't want to do anything, something which is not really required. Okay, your name, who will be doing, if you open some ticket or delete, okay, delete something, everything will be showing up here. And the date too, which date you have done and what you are trying to do. Okay, so you cannot um, escape on that one. Okay, so that's pretty much about this. Ravi. So any questions so far? So okay, so this is the thing, right? I mean, in agile, if you're working in agile, they will try to remove all these documents. Okay, they'll not even have any access. Okay, so the only document for you will be this. This is the information what is here. So you will not have any access to this. Okay, so I don't see any point of not documents and relating to not understanding of this tool. Okay, this tool is completely different from those documents. Okay, so just don't correlate to this, and I don't see any relation between that. You're not understanding because just because you don't have the documents. Most of the time you will not even have documents. Okay, so just by knowing this document doesn't mean that you know whole QA. Okay, this is independent and this is no way related to any documents. And thus testing too, I mean, I really don't get really, even if you're trying to test this application, it doesn't have to do any documents. Okay, I have done so much testing without looking documents. Okay, they don't even give documents to me. Okay, if I have to ask to developer, hey, can I, get FRD? They'll say there's no FRD. Okay, even if it's there, you never have this access because the developer will be having the access, all those things. So that's how it is. So I don't see any reason of testing this application just because you don't have documents. Most of the time you'll be doing without documents. So I mean, this is pretty odd scenario from past 3 years. I have never came across somebody saying that I don't have documents, so I'm not able to understand anything from day one. So that's pretty odd because what you're what you need to understand is it's independent to each other. Okay, sometimes you don't have documents. How are you going to move forward? So that is an interview question. Okay, they will ask you that there is no documents. How will you start testing? That's an interview question. That just happened to me. So I guess you can't argue with them like what you're arguing to me. Though we want documents, we are not understanding QA. That would be pretty hard to say with them. So they'll just hang up the phone if you're talking like that. You lose the interview. If you're losing the interview, you are losing the job. Okay? If you're arguing with someone, or if you're to the interviewer, say no, we don't have documents, so we will not proceed. So you're losing it, not me. That was an interview question. Actually, that was asked to me too. Okay, and they will just ask you, okay, so we are working in agile environment, let's say, and we don't have any documents. How would you proceed? So that's how it is. Okay. Yeah, can anyone answer? So many people said, right, they're not understanding anything from the day one because there's no, I'm not telling documents. Can you answer this interview question? This is an interview question. If you want, you can ask, it was asked to me too. Okay? It was asked in Barclays. It was asked for me in one of my project, actually USLR too. They'll just ask you, saying that we don't have any documents. How would you proceed with your testing? Anyone? Okay, somebody said based on requirement. Okay, guys, you need to have better understanding on this. Okay, so we'll close this class for today. Any questions? Okay, that's a good thing. Okay, somebody said discuss with developer. That's good. That's close enough. Okay, that's close. Okay, that's good. Discuss with developer or BA. Why not developer and BA? Both you can have a meeting and you can do it. Okay, so you cannot say that no, I'm not doing QA testing because I don't have documents, so you're not doing any QA testing. They will just hang up the phone or you just not even bother to look into your resume. Okay? QA lead. Anyone else? So somebody asked, right? Can you repeat the question? So my question here is, you don't have any documents. There's no BRD, no FRD. How are you going to proceed with your testing? That's an interview question. And you want to argue with that question? So it's up to you. You should be really good at this if you want to argue. There is no documents. Let's say the interviewer asked you, there is no documents at all, no BRD, no FRD, okay, and you want to start testing. How would you do that? Is an interview question that was asked to me too. Okay, so guys, nobody have answered, only one or two people. So okay, so you guys have one more class, so I'm closing this. Any more questions? I mean, if you're not giving an answer in an interview, then what's the point? The point if you have to answer the question, right? Cannot see title or answer the question. You guys need to prepare a lot on communication. First thing is you want to communicate, and second thing is you don't want to argue. Okay, you can argue whatever you want. You can just even complain. That's fine. I'm not worried. The thing is, the point is, I've told you, right? This is what happened to my friend. One of my friends, like, say that, hey, you need to do, because they figured out that he's a new guy, he doesn't know, and they said you need to leave. And that guy argued that my stuff is here. I want to take it. This guy said we'll ship it to your address. Okay, and this guy argued something. Okay, this guy argued something, and his boss told, we are going to call the cops. You are in the private property. Okay, we are going to call the cops. So that is what happens. Okay, you need to get used to that environment. The environment is there, right? So you have to get used to it. Okay, so no questions. In closing this class. Okay, you guys have one more class, right? So, okay, thank you guys.